Welcome back to Weebology. Thanks, y'all, for coming back to class. I am your ravished Professor Ricky. Professor, I'm ravished. My
Y'all
mind
heard
is...
that. I'm not just,
It's Professor. I don't know what you thought you heard.
Yeah.
It's definitely
Hey,
Professor.
I'm Professor Ethan.
You don't mean Professor?
I don't mean Professor.
Man, I am ravished in that I have been experimenting with
I don't like where this is going.
healthy eating lately, Ethan. Ignore the beans. Holistically, no, we're not getting into that. We're not going back to beans. I've left beans behind.
As you said it 8 times.
I'm trying my best, Ethan. No, so I've been trying to eat a little healthier as of lately, but I cracked last night, Ethan. I cracked and got a literal metric fuck ton of Zaxby's. And it has made me feel very dense today.
Okay, to be fair, Zaxby's only has a business because Chick-fil-A is closed on Sundays.
That I don't know, man. Zaxby's and Chick-fil-A scratch different itches for me. When I want to feel like a saucy boy.
Go ahead and do some statistics on when you think you go to Zaxby's the most. If it's a Sunday, I win.
I used to go a lot at work because there's one within walking distance of my office. But when I want to feel like a saucy boy, I go to Zaxby's because, man, they got the sauce. They got mad sauce. They drench their nugs.
The sauce.
They drench their nugs in that bitch, dude. But when I want to feel like a good Christian, I go ahead and go to a good family-owned establishment known as the conglomerate of Chick-fil-A.
It is owned by a family, though.
Yeah, well, yeah. That apparently doesn't like business on Sundays, apparently. Money on Sundays.
Yeah.
Which do you notice that you crave Chick-fil-A most on Sundays?
Of course.
Yeah, I think that is a brilliant business model.
It's honestly a drug.
Yeah, a chickie a dicky right
yeah,
there.
I've got a chicky dicky for Sunday.
Dicky. But yeah, by ignoring their customer base for an entire day.
Yeah, we don't even want you.
We don't even want you on Sunday. Go
to church.
Go to church. Read a Bible. Eat some Zaxby's.
Yeah.
That's your Sunday routine.
That should be their next ad, honestly.
Go to that heathenists colony known as Zaxby's and eat their lesser chicken, the unholy chicken. Oh, man, but this is already feeling like a very tangential episode, Ethan. You know?
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty clearly going to go off the rails early.
Oh, yeah. So choo-choo, buckle up, strap in. Because what we're doing today is exploring a question that Ethan had brought up to me that seemed simple at first on the surface, but as we thought more about it, it merited a little bit of discussion.
I'm going to stop you there. I've never asked a simple question.
It had a simple answer at first, but, All
right, what's the question then?
The question is, in the world and the story of Hunter x Hunter, is Gon the main character? Now,
what's your simple answer?
At first, I'm like, yes, of course Gon is
like
the main
a fool.
Fucking
He's
character.
Not the main character.
Okay, but that's where I think it got interesting, because as you think more about main characters and the concept of an MC in any show, it starts to kind of have blurred lines here. Some feel more concrete than others, but the shows that seem to be standing the test of time manage to blur those lines a little more. So we wanted to talk today about main characters and other shows we know about to answer the main question in Hunter x Hunter, is Gon the main character now, Ethan? As you so rudely put it. I said yes initially.
Dude, I came up with the concept of this episode, and you're really gonna come at me.
I'm coming at you full
because I
double
was
barrels.
Rude.
You're so rude to me. Your only lab partner in this
Raggy.
giant 15,000 square foot illustrious white lab.
Industrial lab.
Yeah, it's clearly big if you can't hear the massive echo. It's okay. What made you ask the question? Why do you not think Gon is the main character of Hunter x Hunter?
So, to me, a main character requires some form of, growth.
Interesting.
And not only just physical growth, but, generally, they have some, actual personality growth or some kind of, emotional growth or something like that.
Okay.
Now, I think it's easy to think people like Naruto does not go through any type of growth. I think you'd be wrong. But
yeah,
people like
wrong.
Goku and Luffy maybe don't necessarily.
So, yeah. So to give a little bit of background about what these main characters are talking about and this IP in general, if you are an anime fan and have not watched Hunter x Hunter, which we have now been exposed to a couple of them who are very avid anime fans that haven't seen Hunter x Hunter, one, go watch it. It is an absolute masterpiece, a classic in any right. But what this is at 10,000 feet.
Danny, watch Hunter x Hunter. I know you're listening.
Calling out Anime Summit there. Yeah, Danny, please watch Hunter x Hunter. It's so good.
You'll love it.
Yes.
I guarantee it.
If you need a little bit of help getting inspired to watch it, it is the story of a boy named Gon Fries, who is basically out to look for his father, Jin, who is a hunter.
An asshole.
Is an asshole. His dad's a little bit of a dickling.
He's a complete asshole.
He's a little bit of a dickling.
Not even a little bit. He's a full-on
dick. So in this world, there are people called hunters, people who have trained and gone through a rigorous testing process to allow them to be called hunters and given a hunter license. Kind of basically like a free, all-inclusive pass to the world, frankly. And
it gives you like special rights. It's basically like, think about like certifications in the military or in police forces, right? That allow you to become like, oh, SWAT now, or oh, you're now certified like detective. You can be in forensics. You can go to the Treasury Department. Like you can do like that kind of shit.
You can just hold up the card.
Yeah, basically federal police officers versus just like a regular city police officer. You have to go to extra training,
right,
and go that way. So that's the whole kind of idea behind the hunter license.
And think of it on a more of an, like, literally you have that right. Like the FBI can step in any cop show and says, "This is our jurisdiction now." Whip it out and just be like, "Ah, shit, everyone vacate."
Shit,
shucks, man.
Doink.
But imagine that on an international scale. And these hunters actually they get introduced to a power system called Nen, and that's where you get your classic shonen power systems, arguably one of the most tightly written power systems to ever grace the anime medium. Now,
whoa,
yeah, I stand by that, dude.
Me too.
Yeah. But the thing with Hunter x Hunter is that they go on a lot of wild, crazy adventures, but it's not in a lot of common shonens. You have, like you mentioned, Goku and Luffy. They are kind of the nexus point of a lot of these plots happening. Hunter x Hunter deviates from that formula in a lot of ways, actually. Gon doesn't feel like the nexus point for all of the plots happening in this show, right?
I think he basically serves as a way for us to view these things, but I agree with you. He's not like the reason that all of these things are going down. I think you see, like Goku, for instance, he is basically Earth's greatest defender, right?
Through and through.
So you see some stories that are tangentially related to him, like basically his son becoming like also a freaking god. Right. Or Vegeta and all these people like finding growth. But he seems like he's more of a constant. He's less so changing.
Yeah.
But I feel like him and like a Luffy and even definitely a Gon are less like the changing character and more like the stalwart, like true north essentially for the show.
Exactly.
And the real show around these guys is really, basically the supporting cast become the main character in a lot of ways because you get to see a lot of different growth and change through them, not so much through the main character. Think Naruto. Mm-hmm. He always acted the same, right?
Believe it.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
But you saw the entire village kind of come to change and started using like some different philosophies for things
because of him.
Neji became not an asshole.
Yes.
Sasuke became an asshole.
And then suddenly not an asshole.
Not an asshole.
And then not an asshole.
Sakura was an asshole
and sustained assholery all the way through.
Right. But you just see like all the other teams look to Naruto as like this guy wants to be Hokage and he's like complete unabashed about it.
Let's not beat around the bush. This guy fucks. That's what they're all thinking. This guy fucks. He does. And he does in a big way, and he will make you believe it.
In a big way.
And it'll make you believe it. But what you're describing is something that a channel on YouTube that has risen very exponentially and for good reason, totally not Mark. He does literary analysis on the Dragon Ball franchise, and something he has called Goku is someone who is a flat character arc. That's exactly what you've described, as someone who doesn't change, but in their unwaveringness in the face of the world around them, the characters in it change as them as the nexus point for change. It's like it's the true, like the North Star of the story. Everyone looks to it and they change, trying to aspire to be it. And
yeah, guys, definitely check out Totally Not Mark if you like Dragon Ball content.
Fantastic content. So it seems like to you, a main character to be called and labeled the one true main character, it requires change on the main character's part.
I just like to see there needs to be some type of struggle, really. And my issue with Gon is the only struggle he ever really faces, he instantly devolves into a demon monster.
Uh-huh.
And the rest of the time, he's just like happy-go-lucky and like dumb, like little kid. Whereas I think some of the cast of characters around him actually do a lot more growth. For instance, I actually think Killua is probably the main character of the show.
He does remind me of a kind of a lighter-hearted Vegeta in a way, because he is going from a place of darkness to a kind of a much more light and heroic spot by the end of the animated series, thanks to what we're kind of calling for now the main character, Gon, the same way Vegeta in his exposure to Goku, though a different metric, fighting him, can't really beat him, always aspiring to be him, and then finding a family by kind of chasing after him. It has that same positive character arc. And you're right. I think there is the most prominent change and the most rewarding change comes from Killua. But I almost feel like that kind of still makes Gon the reason for his change. Therefore, he does still feel like the main character. I wanted to ask you, though.
But I think it's like, I do agree where he's like obviously the forefront, but I feel like there's multiple people within his show that could be main characters of their own show.
Of course.
I think you easily could say Crollo Lucifer could be his own MC.
Would love to see
you
like
could see
a show
Hisoka, like literally name it the Clown, and then
Clown.
Do a show like that.
Yeah.
You could see Killua. You could see Kurapika, because he absolutely has a character arc.
And here's the thing I'm thinking, is that why Hunter x Hunter is so brilliant is because everyone has their moment to shine as the main character. There's an entire arc later in the series where Killua is the central point on screen in arc storytelling. It's all personal to him, and but he's still all doing it for Gon, which I think is brilliant, because I think Gon taking a backseat after his transformation. One, his transformation is a brilliant subversion of the flat character arc. What happens when someone flat breaks for the worse? What happens when that unwavering North Star suddenly just derails that trope and just said, "Cool, fuck this. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to burn to kill one person."
I think so. Yes, agreed. Absolutely, very good point.
Right.
I think it was the dumbest shit I've ever seen that he would instantly go like that over something that I didn't feel like was that necessarily big of a deal.
I feel like, I think that if I had to make a justification, I would argue that it was quite,
you don't have to, so stop.
I'm thinking about it. A whiplash level of turn for him. I think it was behind the scenes, kind of stacking on little by little. His hunt for his dad, always elusive. The one person that could be a real connection to his father was taken, and then in that hope of him getting him back, shattered in an instant, which he believed adamantly all the way up to that point. And he had nowhere to direct all the anger of his entire hunter journey was just to find his dad, and he kept getting blocked, mainly by his dad. Let's talk about his dad. Kind of stepped in his way a lot, but it all kind of poured over onto P2. So while is it unjustified, his transformation? I would say no. Did it feel rewarding in the moment? It felt shocking. I don't know about rewarding, I guess I'm trying to make a logical connection to why you felt like it was dumb, but I can't really. I liked it. I mean, it was super cool, and it made sense.
I thought it was dumb because he knew Kite for literally 5 minutes, and then he's like, "Well,
he didn't have his papa.
I'm giving it up.
He didn't have his papa, so Kite was like the embodiment of his papa."
Yeah, but his whole thing is having fun with his friends, and then he just completely changes his character for that one scene.
You have mentioned this in the show before. Yeah, because like he's supposed to be happy-go-lucky this whole point, and then all of a sudden, like literally,
like as emo as it gets.
As emo as it gets. Yeah. He sits there for an hour and just stares at her.
And like I think it might have been Nux or somebody like that had mentioned, like as he is devolving to becoming an animal, you know, the Meruem is evolving to show human emotions. So it's kind of like they're passing each other on, you know, the way.
I do actually agree that in the Chimera Ant arc, in my opinion, Meruem feels like kind of being the embodiment of the Chimera Ants is mostly the main character of that show. Like that arc, I would say. He feels main character-y, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, but you could also have said it's sort of like Yami, right? Where he could have been a main character of his own show, and then he popped into Black Clover just for YOLOs.
It really is for YOLOs.
Netero, same thing. He had his own MC story.
Yeah, they gave him a nice
Shounen,
background.
And then he just kind of throws in, and he's like old by the time we see him, but he basically could have been a main character in his own show. And I think like really, really strong shows have multiple characters that could be MCs. And I think that you're right when you said that earlier, is like it's not enough to just have one compelling character. You need to have a ton. So
a show that I wanted to draw a comparison with about Gon's lack of screen time would be, you know, well, first, to preface it as a question, do you think a titular character is an automatic main character sentence? Like, if your name, like Naruto therefore is a main character, no matter how that show played out, does that automatically make you the one and only main character of the show? There are other main characters in Naruto, sure, but does it make...
I think it makes you the character, yeah, that like is supposed to be the main character. Because give me an example.
One Punch Man. One Punch Man, as you go through the show, Saitama is less and less on screen. And in season 2, there are many episodes where he's either not even on screen at all, and you just maybe see his effects, or he just pops in for a moment. And everyone else had a much more compelling thing or story to watch. So that kind of led in to the idea of screen time. Does screen time have a play on the main character of a show? Because I think Gon had a lot of screen time, I'd say all of it, up until the Chimera Ant arc. He was kind of here and there. And then in the Killua brother-sister arc, his brosis, as we called it on the last episode, or the next episode maybe, Killua's brosis.
Stop breaking the timeline.
Oh, here in the lab, we break the space-time continuum all the time. But yeah, so like, Gon's gone. He's just out. He's just not on screen anymore. Blips here and there, the same way Saitama is. Does Saitama feel any less or more of a main character than Gon?
Saitama feels like more of a main character. Luffy feels like more of a main character. And both of them spent nearly entire arcs where they're not the main focus.
Interesting.
So the question to me is, what is the difference between Gon and his basically one two-dimensional character and somebody like Luffy's his own like animal.
That's the thing.
But like a Saitama seems like he should be the same thing. But to me, he was a better main character than Gon.
That's fascinating because he goes through no change.
But you know what?
He goes through no change.
It might be because everyone's weaker around Saitama. Like, I don't think there's really a whole lot of good, like, side characters.
In One Punch Man?
Yeah.
Fascinating. I mean...
But, like, main character-worthy side characters? I don't think so.
Yeah.
King? Like, that's basically it. Bang.
King...
I think Bang did his own thing.
Bang did his own thing. Bang and what? Boom?
Bang and bomb.
Bang and bomb. That's it. But yeah, I think, honest to God, like... There's something about, I think what it actually is kind of what you mentioned before, the strength of the supporting cast can basically, when you have someone like Goku or Luffy, not to say the characters around them aren't good, but they are so iconic that they're pedestaled and untouched, right? And with Gon, people around him, I'd argue Gon isn't my favorite character in Hunter x Hunter. Actually, not he might be in the top 5.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair to say, and I also think that most people would agree with you. Like, the times I liked him the most were like in the Heaven's Tower or Heaven's Arena, where he was like basically using his insane talent to like get around some of the issues he was having with the guy's nen abilities.
And
he was using his fishing rod to pull up the tiles, and like he was just thinking outside the box.
Right.
And that's what, you know, a shonen main character generally does. They're like normally masters at combat, and they literally will figure out how to beat somebody in the middle of a fight. I think that's fairly a strong trope.
So smart, innovative thinking in perilous situations. Maybe that just goes back
but
to
relatively like dorky or dumb in like regular day.
Earnest, yeah, like simple. Like how many main
Goku, Naruto.
They're all simple-minded, but they're very
Luffy,
hardy.
They're all pretty dorky in a lot of ways.
Hell yeah. And Saitama's kind of a dork in his own right.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so I get that. Like, he likes video games because he can't win at them, ever. And that kind of brings up, you know, other shows that have a stronger connection of main character is probably because their supporting cast can't hold a candle to their... You know, it's the more characters that are strong around him, the more you have to question, are they a main character? Another show I was thinking of was Death Note, because Light was kind of not overshadowed, but met at pedestal, sometimes visually, with L, right? Is L the main? It's clear, but the thing is, it's clear that Light is the main character of that show.
I think you can make the case for L, though, because generally... I don't know if you feel this way, but when you have an anti-hero per se, it feels harder to call them the main character or like somebody to get behind. You don't really want to get behind the mass murderer, right?
You don't, no.
And so, like, I understand where people's feelings can be like kind of split there, where like Elk is probably the right guy to be the main character because his goal is to stop this mass murderer. Is he willing to kill people to do it? Yes.
Right, yeah.
So, like, imagine a Batman that had a little bit more spine.
a little more
finally
spice.
Kill people, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I feel like that's absolutely what, like, an L character is basically Batman, but kills people.
But and then aren't there storylines in DC Universe where Superman snaps?
There sure is.
And just goes absolute AWOL. Do you find that more compelling to watch a Superman like that?
Superman like that is a little boring because...
There's no one that can even touch him,
right?
Yeah,
he can kill everyone.
Yeah.
But there's this Flashpoint paradox or something.
Okay.
Where basically one of the Flash characters runs so far back in time, he accidentally jumps into a different timeline.
That's
and
so
he goes
brilliant.
to find the rest of the Justice League, and he finds out that basically Batman is Bruce Wayne's dad.
Whoa.
So Bruce and the mom, Martha,
Spoilers.
were killed.
I'm just kidding.
Bruce and Martha were killed, and he ends up becoming Batman. But he's older, grittier,
spicy.
He actually kills people.
That's cool.
Like, it's just a much darker version of like Batman in general. And so he basically says, "Look, if there's a timeline out there where my son lived, I want you to get back to that and help my son out, essentially."
Right.
So, like, that was the whole kind of crux of that, is like it showed a glimpse into a much grittier version of a main character, but like if you put yourself in that universe's shoes, he is Batman. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think you actually kind of uncovered an interesting point there, because
not surprising to me.
Your ego is so encroaching right now.
I'm sorry.
My personal space is attacked, Ethan. No, but it's interesting because do you feel that Batman is more compelling, yay or nay? Though, like you just said, like the Batman with a little more spine. That's a more compelling Batman to watch and read about than maybe the OG Batman that we know about.
Tough to say. I like our Batman. I don't like that he is so... Like, he repeats his mistakes constantly. So, essentially, he's insane.
Fair enough. So, but that's the thing, right? A lot of these characters, all the big shonen heroes and the main characters we would call main characters, I think it isn't just They have part of that insanity in them.
Yeah,
where
you're totally right.
They keep doing.
This is a surprise, folks, but Ricky has actually stumbled upon a point.
You really hammering it in right now. Making me feel a little insecure about my points. But no. But I was saying, like, that's a good way to put it. Is that they have that little bit of insanity where all these people, all the villains around them, a lot of think like Obito and Naruto is like, why do you keep trying? Sasuke, why do you keep trying? This is literally insane. But I think what it is that unwavering spirit that is in direct contradiction to the world around them. Think like we can go back to Batman form. Everyone else in Gotham kills and everyone's okay with it. His unwavering contradiction to that idea makes him an interesting character because he stands out. It's
wow, that is your best point literally ever.
And I think with I haven't seen One Piece, so I don't know if that applies to Luffy, but I know it
absolutely applies.
Perfect. So I mean,
oh shit, yeah.
Oh shit, yeah. So Ichigo Kurosaki in Bleach, in the face of the rigidity of the Soul Society,
Ichigo Kawasaki,
Ichigo Kama Sutra,
Kamabushi,
Kamabunta. No, it's basic. So a main character stands out as the one and only main character if he's not only changing the world around him, he's doing it by being this resilient rock against the flow of the way things are, because they are breaking the mold. They're breaking that mold. Now, to come back to Hunter x Hunter, does Gon break molds? Does his personality break molds? Does his character break molds? I think him in the power set does, because he's a literal tiny monster. Like, he is like a Netero-style talent in that world.
Yeah, I mean, I think, they're definitely, like, ridiculous for their age, both him and Killua.
Of course, yeah. So they're both prodigies, like, what is it? Wing said that they're like 1 in 10 millions each. Yeah. But I think why I asked this, and to bring it back to Hunter x Hunter, when Gon is literally incapacitated and a shriveled raisin in that room,
Raisin Boy,
they basically, all the Hunter Association people he met throughout his travels try with all of their resources to get him back to health. I don't think Gon's that compelling. His simplicity might be, the way he looks at the world is simple, and the world of Hunter x Hunter is nothing but simple. Like,
yeah, I decided I'm gonna chill a little bit, so I'm just gonna lean back.
Yeah, lean back. But YouTube gang seeing it's lean really, back. Oh, it's lean back time, baby. It's
really
lean back.
Really chill ETH.
Yeah, really chill ETH.
Yeah, so I agree. He's not compelling enough to like really garner all the respect that he gets at the end.
Do you think it's because he's Jin's?
I absolutely do.
He's his kid.
I really think it's because they know that he's like such a douchebag, and they're like, man, this kid really wants to see his dad, and he's so nice all the time.
But if I ran into Gon, like, yeah, he's a sweet kid. He's clearly a capable and powerful hunter. There's something that's missing from him for me, I guess.
His dad.
Got him. You got him, Ethan.
You burnt, kid.
You got burnt today. But does that detract from his, I don't know, main characterness? Really? Because I'd still argue he's still the main character. I just can't tell why it doesn't feel so clear cut.
I think it's because he has no real ideal. What is his goal?
Going on that.
What is his goal?
Find his pops.
Yeah, but that's such a weak goal compared to.
He's not a daddy hunt.
Yeah, but compared to like, I want to be the wizard king. I want to be the pirate king. I want to be Okage.
It is inspiring. I mean, a lot of people watch shows like that to watch these underdogs kind of.
I want to be a billionaire, you know?
Yeah, I want.
So freaking bad.
I want to see you aspire and achieve a goal.
Right.
That you wouldn't, would seem unthinkable from episode 1. I think, you got a point, because, like, Gene can just show up at any
and then
point.
The story's done.
And stop being a dick.
And so, like, the question is, and I don't know the answer to this, but I know that the answer exists.
Okay.
So, the Dark Continent.
Ah, okay.
It's basically the next arc in the manga for Hunter x Hunter.
They're pretty deep into that arc, too.
They are. The question becomes, if I'm not mistaken, it basically kind of doesn't look at Gon really that much.
Okay.
And it kind of deals with the people trying to go to the Dark Continent and do stuff. Essentially, Netero's son becomes the main character for a bit.
Ooh, Naruto has a son?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
So the thing...
Spoiling it for me, my man.
Not really. I didn't tell you anything.
So anybody has a son.
But the question is, he sees his dad on the God tree or whatever, world tree.
Right.
I mean, is that basically his story done? Like, I think that's maybe that's his character arc.
Didn't Gene just bounce? Didn't he say, I'm not going to stay here long? Well, yeah, I guess, but that's the thing.
Yeah, but that's all he wanted to do was talk to him. He didn't want him to come be his dad again.
I guess that's true. He never really cared. He just said, I want to find him.
Like, his goal is flimsy, and I think that does make, like, it's hard to follow a character where at any second, his dad could just show up and say, yo, son, and then that's it.
That is true. Yeah, the goal
accomplished.
The goal could be handed to him at any time.
Yeah.
And I can't tell if, because it isn't, it makes it more compelling of a show to watch. I think I'd argue yes, because of the elusiveness of his dad and his legacy being toted around essentially the whole world. What is he labeled as one of the top 5 Nen users, like proficiency in Nen usage? Gene.
Well, yeah, he's a Zodiac, which is top 12.
Top 12, and within that, he's like upper echelon already.
Yeah, he's pretty gnarly.
So all
right, bear with me. This is gonna get really wild.
All right, I'm strapping in.
Okay, let me take you back to Naruto Shippuden.
Holy shit, I'm taking a drink of water for this.
Okay, so we're back. The Pain arc. Pain just uses Almighty Push on the entire village. Naruto is forced to kill Nagato, and before he does reincarnation. So, nearly all Jonin are gone. Basically, most of the village is gone. And Naruto is instantly promoted to Hokage. So he's like young-ish, right?
Right.
And he's Hokage because he's basically the strongest person left.
Yeah.
Does that story, because it was handed to him randomly, so is that now a weak story? Or is there more there because he has to figure out how to be Hokage now at such a young age? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
At the end of the show, it's so much later. He does like literally astronomical god feats. And so it's like doesn't hurt as bad to be like, yeah, he becomes Hokage in 10 years, you know?
Right. So what you're saying is...
I'm saying the handed to you approach.
Right. Are you saying that is there a compelling enough show by being fed adversity after the goal has been reached that he originally set?
Yes.
I'd argue yes, but I think it'd be a massive tonal shift for the show. Because I think you lose track.
Okay, so let me say this. You are not a One Piece boy, so I'll have to explain a tiny, tiny bit.
Hit me.
So semi-recently, it's probably a year and a half ago now,
oh
to be
my
honest.
God, semi-recently.
But Luffy and his crew basically escaped Big Mom on Whole Cake Island.
I did watch some YouTube videos of those fights. They were rad as fuck.
So his bounty literally skyrockets.
Perfect.
And they essentially start calling him the 5th Emperor of the Sea.
And bounty is everything, right? The higher your bounty, the more like your clout,
Notorious.
Essentially. Okay.
So now his goal is not to become a Yonko or Goko with 5 of them.
Okay.
His goal is to become Pirate King. But he was basically handed this title pretty early by most accounts.
Okay.
But now there's going to be a lot of adversity because he has a target on his back. I don't think the story is any worse. Because here's the thing. I think if Naruto's goal was create peace on Earth,
right?
I think he could still be given Hokage title too early and have to like deal with that and be a big target. And I think that could have been a compelling, cool story. But since his only goal is to like reach head of city, you might be right. Where like after that, it's just like kind of wonky.
I think you kind of answered a little bit your own question in explaining One Piece, at least that Big Mom result, because he didn't get Pirate King. He got an illustrious title, and it definitely
You're really
had
digging on the word illustrious.
I love
the third
that
time
word.
you've used it today.
But who's counting, right?
Me.
Okay, clearly.
Obviously.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on my linguistic skills. When I got a new word, I'm gonna milk it, baby. No, so that's what I'm saying.
Wait till next bisexual year.
Oh no, really? He was given a title. He went way up in rank over the entirety of the seas. I think you can have the same effect in Naruto by doing this. He isn't given I don't think he's given Jonin outright, right?
Correct.
He basically is still a genin,
which is some absolute garbage trash idioticness.
See, what I would like to have seen maybe in that regard is handed a title of Jonin in all of its responsibilities, because that would mean leading a team. That would mean going on missions of a lot higher status, even though he was already doing that in kind of a way. That's more of him being special rather than him being like a ranked ninja. But I would like to see him maybe given like special forces or given his own team and finding adversity of, oh shit, maybe he doesn't know how to lead. He's a powerful ninja, but maybe he lost to someone he was in charge of, right? So
it would have been really lit if they put him in the Anbu.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
And like we have to basically see a couples, arcs of him being an Anbu.
Right.
And like they showed, Kakashi struggled with basically having his normal life and his Anbu life.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting for somebody like Naruto with just that guiding light mentality to have to go do some dark shit.
Yeah, maybe his unwaveringness could change the Anbu into something different. There's a lot of ways.
Bunch of pansies.
Bunch of pansy ninja. But no, and so
we don't kill anyone anymore.
Right. It's a Disney show now. So
okay.
But yeah, so I get what you're saying about having it handed to you, having your goal handed to you.
Speaking of that, though, if you guys want to hand us $100,000, we are down skis.
Yeah, if you want to help us reach our goal, you can just hand us money. We'll give you our PayPal. Well, no, I'll give you Ethan's PayPal. How's that?
That's fine.
I'll give you all the detiles to his PayPal, his address, his username and password, even if you want.
Well, I think maybe not that.
It's Cutie Pie 65 actually.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the last time you told me that was.
What's happening right now?
I'm giving them your PayPal information. They're about to drop some serious coin our way. Sorry. But no. So that's what I'm saying is to bring it all back from the tangent. Having your goal handed to you.
Speaking of, hand us our goal. No.
Jesus, having your goal handed to you is not appealing, obviously. Like, why would you want to watch that when there's no adversity?
Yeah, you millennials.
Yep. we are the millennials.
Oh, damn it. Actually, hand it to me.
You got it handed to you. So, Gon was not handed anything. Except for...
In fact, his dad made it as difficult as humanly possible to find him.
Right. So, was it rewarding when he found it? I found it rewarding. I did find it rewarding.
I agree. It was cathartic.
But you're right. It was cathartic for him to find it, but it never felt impossible. It never felt impossible. It never felt like a real, like...
It honestly felt like his dad was literally just being a douchebag because...
Cucking him around.
He's like one of the richest people in the world.
Yep.
One of the strongest people in the world.
Easily.
And he just never goes to see his kid. It's like, fuck you.
He's made a skill out of not being found. That's what it's been alluded to be. And the only one that can find him, he's allowed, I guess, part of me thinks that he actually did allow his son to be found, hence all the clues he left for his son. The game, Greed Island, was an entire game built for Gon to, like, play around in, essentially.
Yeah, but it ended at Kite. And then Kite was like, I can't tell you where he is. That was
true.
A big-ass dead end.
It's a big-ass dead end for sure. But yeah,
Especially when he was dead-ended.
Oh, wait. Spoiler
We said it in the
alert.
beginning. We said it like 20 minutes ago.
We did say it 20 minutes ago. But ideals need to have weight. And that weight, for some reason, it felt personal. And I'm big on personal stakes. But, Asta with no magic becoming Wizard King. That's scale and that's personal. He's a kid born with no magic. He's going to be the best wizard in the entire kingdom. That is a perfect mix of stakes and personal ties. So Gon went all personal. It didn't feel like it had a lot of stake. And we've actually talked about this in the Chimera and Ant arc episode that we have, where the stakes suddenly went from having fun with my friends and trying to find my dad to chimera ants can kill everybody.
Yeah, true.
And that felt weird to me. Yeah, I don't know. The ideals thing I'm kind of on the fence about, but it does affect his main characterness. The main character juices of Gon.
Okay, so if you had to choose somebody other than Gon to be the main character of Hunter x Hunter, who in Naruto would you choose?
Clearly Kakashi.
I love it.
Who would be in Naruto and why would it be Kakashi? Yeah. Would you have murdered me if I said 10-10?
Yes.
Cool.
Obviously.
All right. Glad I'm between you and the sword.
Who in Naruto would you prefer to be from Hunter x Hunter?
Wait, who in Naruto would you prefer to be from Hunter x Hunter? I guess Hidan.
I'm just trying to be as freaking
vague as
I can.
Oh my god. No,
you know what I'm trying to ask?
Yes. I think honestly,
who in One Piece
would be the best character in Bleach? Clearly,
obviously.
I don't know how much more clear I could be, but shit, I don't know, dude. Killua seems like the most reasonable answer. Like honestly, it feels like the most reasonable answer.
I think you can make a case for Kurapika pretty easily too.
You can. That whole the
worst one, Leorio.
Oh, Leorio! I wish we got more.
I want to be a doctor.
I want to be a doctor. Comes back with stretchy arm, extreme boy.
Yeah. Okay, he's a doctor.
Imagine with his power set doing surgery, just like
he's gone.
No, he just portals into your heart.
Yeah,
just
good point.
Kink. Actually, that'd be pretty rad. Yeah. Let's talk about that real quick.
Now I'm thinking about it. He's actually the perfect surgeon. He doesn't even have to cut you open.
I don't know about that precision though. That doesn't seem too precise.
X-ray.
Yeah, MRI.
X-ray, fam.
I think honestly, Kurapika would be a good one because of all of the moments we get of his character arc. The thing is, he never technically reaches his goal either, right? What's his goal? To kill everyone in the Phantom Troop.
Kill the Phantom Troop.
To the point where his Nen power is exclusively to kill them. OP as it may be, it's only to kill them. And I wish I would have saw more of it, but...
So,
yeah,
I will not tell you what happens, but...
Have you read the manga?
No.
You know what happens.
I just know about it.
I am that big brain. I
Anyway, I
don't know.
Basically, you can think, okay, what does Kurapika do after there's no one left to kill, essentially? His story,
the same way Gon's would be, is over.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of what you get to when you have a character with like a vengeful thing or like a relatively flimsy goal.
It's going
easily
to reach.
Ish attainable.
I guess, but
I think it would have been cooler if Gon didn't meet his dad at the end of this.
Yeah.
This arc. Like basically his dad just absconded from the election or something and just wasn't there. He's one of the Zodiacs, but he never showed up.
Right. And so, somehow told him to meet him in the Dark Continent.
Yeah, that would have been way doper because he is the archaeologist guy or whatever he is.
And dropping that this world that you know about is just a sliver of the world at large.
It's a seed from the world tree.
Exactly. That'd be amazing because that basically your dad, that would make Jin's influence in Gon's life basically opening his eyes to the world as he knows it. And if they kept that going, they kind of did, but...
Also, they could have given a reason why he wasn't around. Like, he could have said, essentially, he made Greed Island, and then he was dispatched to the Dark Continent, and he hasn't been able to return.
But that would make him a better dad. And how dare you?
Yeah, I don't understand how Gon can even want to see his dad, because he, intentionally is not going back home. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it's, a little bit... And then when they do meet, he's just, all happy and cool with him.
I guess that's kind of show that father like son in a way. I mean that's how I see it, is that there is a clear deeper connection in the kind of people that the Freeses are. What? They're both happy-go-lucky folk.
But why the hell would Gon be happy to see his dad after he's intentionally dodging him?
Because Gon's kind of dumb.
Aha!
He's not a smart fella. But he's clever in battle, clearly. But when him trying to come up with rock, paper, scissors powers, he's a simple-minded. But that's the thing.
That's a good point.
That adds to his main characterness. He's lovable. He's lovable. His Janjakin is a lovably simple power.
Gah.
I don't know. I think, him having unlofty goals, but keeping them personal, remains him firmly as a main character. But I don't think you can argue he is the main character. Hell, Killua, I think, has a much better story, much better growth. Even if he didn't have a lot of growth, I still think that...
I think he shows so much growth, but basically no
right.
goal either. His goal is really just make friends and have fun and turn my life on the back of, turn my back to assassinhood.
Yeah, he only had a goal because Gon's like, I want to find my pops. And he's like, all right, cool, I'll come with you.
Shit, I ain't got nothing to do.
I'm literally part of one of the world's richest families, and I'm one of the most powerful families to boot.
Yeah, and they left Heaven's Arena, and they were like the richest kids on Earth.
Pretty much. And Killua already was wealthy as absolute shit.
Yeah.
Which is great. So... Killua, I think he has a lot more room to breathe as a character going forward. Say you just like this story expanded to the length of One Piece indefinitely. I think Killua could go to the distance as the main character. Gon probably can't. I mean, just
it would be kind of interesting if you started seeing him become more of the backup to Killua. I think that would actually become pretty compelling.
So they are more
because
like,
we've spent so much time with
Gon. Yeah.
Like, it's hard to say, like, oh, I don't want to ever see him again. I don't think you can say that if you've watched the whole thing or read the whole thing.
Right.
I think having him become the backup to Killua's, whatever Killua's goal becomes, because I feel like that's the natural progression now, is that Gon doesn't have a goal anymore. Let's give Killua a goal, and then let's go attack it together as friends.
I think... So,
as a friends.
As a friends. And
of course.
One unit of friends, please. But I think that's what... I wasn't...
Population... You?
Yes. So I wasn't all the way joking when I said unit of friends, because I think the show Hunter x Hunter doesn't have a main character. It has two. Like... If you think Hunter x Hunter goes 1,000+ episodes, Gon by himself or Killua by himself, they each lack something that would not make them go the distance as a compelling sole main character. Gon does not have, I would say all the charisma, all of the unwaveringness as we saw with him breaking in front of Pitou, and the character growth to show a compelling character arc all the way through, where Killua lacks a goal. He's literally, without Gon, we'd just be watching a guy wandering around. Hell, he wouldn't even be a hunter without Gon. So, but them, as a binary main character system, work really well, because when one has a goal, the other will follow, and then when they trade places, the dynamic doesn't change at all.
Right.
But they shifting and growing together make for a really compelling main character duo to go forth into what I'd like to see a continued anime. I would love to see that.
We could all hope.
But that might...
And pray.
Do you feel that's the answer to the question? Gon may not be, but are they the main character? Singular. They as a system.
They are legion, for they are many.
For they are two. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think... Yes, that's our answer. All y'all at home that don't agree, you're wrong.
Wow, I was going to say, I want to hear it because I'm curious.
But I do want to hear what y'all think.
Yeah,
I think we're right.
Hit us up on Instagram because, Jesus, you're really wailing on the students today.
We are.
The royal we, the royalist we. But I think...
As in me.
I would like to see...
It rhymed. I'm not that
conceited. I like to see the students be a little more upfront with me. And, hit me up on Instagram. Hit us up on Instagram. And, you'll if you've been noticing, we're putting out our YouTube
and
thumbnails.
Tell us who the main character be.
Yeah, tell us who the main character be, you weebs.
Hey.
But yeah, so I'd love to hear what your thoughts are, because Hunter x Hunter is truly a brilliant show, and I think part of that brilliance is that ambiguity. They have such strong characters that any one of the main cast can jump in, have a story arc, and it still feels like one connected world that is always progressing. And I'd like to hear if you guys think, is there a main character? Do they make up the main character? Is there no main character? Is it Game of Thrones as fuck? And they're just, just people running around in a world where people are dying. In a world where everyone dies and people glow. One man. Nope, two boys.
Are the main character of this show. It rhymed with glow.
They do.
I just want to...
Good for you.
Ding.
See, look at our linguistic powers rising.
We're starting to become rappers.
Is that really the weebest rappers of all time? Screw this professor thing. We're going on store, baby.
On store. We're hungry.
We're hungry. But I think that's honestly it. Thank you for joining us for this tangential episode. I like having these every once in a while. They're fun to just kind of explore a question and see if we could, dive real deep.
At some point, find an answer.
Yeah.
Shake it out from the tree, essentially.
I think we shook a pretty decent one out, but if y'all have a better one, you can check us out, like I said, on Instagram at Weebology.podcast. We got memes on news, and now student inquiries, apparently. We got that. But yeah, we're posting content on that whenever we can. If you are watching us on YouTube, hello. Thank you for watching us. This should be maybe in 4K. This one particularly.
I don't think I clicked 4K.
This one is going to be an illustrious, like I said before, 1080p.
Number 4.
But yeah, if you want to just listen with your ears and not your eyes, you can go check us out on
Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher. I don't like the S's. I can't DS that.
You can just mute me.
He's muted. Consider him muted.
Castbox and many more.
Yeah, that one.
If you want to drop us a line and want us to watch an episode or have a question for us.
Weebologypodcast@gmail.com.
Ethan likes to interrupt me, but you'll get your whole word out on our email. Boo you.
No, interrupting cow, that joke.
Yes, I know the joke, Ethan.
You know the joke?
Remember how we said that we derailed the train? If we made it further than we thought, but here we are in the wreckage.
We've absolutely devolved.
But I think that's honestly it. I think we plugged everything, right?
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
Next episode, we will be having special guests on. We'll be having the folks over at Two Guys in a Warehouse. Thanks you, Alex and Dylan, for coming on. It was a fantastic show. We are filming this one after and kind of giving some spacing, but we'll have special guests on next time, and it is a super fun episode, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, I'm Ricky.
And I'm Ethan.
And this has been Weebology. You got
learned.
Deuces. Man, this is a fiery train wreck we've had in the
Everything's
on fire.